Enry and the Jimmy. All of the big engines were happy to be back at work, except Henry.
I suffered dreadfully, and no one cares.
Rubbish, Henry, snorted James.
You don't work hard enough.
It seemed that rest in the engine shed hadn't done Henry any favours. He'd always been a sluggish steamer, and lately it seemed like he had no strength at all. I soon had a word with him. You're too expensive, Henry. You've had lots of new parts, and new paint too, but they've done you no good. If we can't make you better, we must replace you with another engine. This made Henry, Charlie, and Sid very sad. The next morning, as the engines were raising pressure, Sid waited until Eunice had left the shed. Then he spoke to Henry and Charlie. He seemed much more cheerful today.
You'll be all right now, Henry,
he said.
I've made you a Jimmy.
Who's Jimmy? Asked Henry. Sid chuckled.
Jimmy's not a person, or an engine.
And he produced an old brake block with a steel bolt attached to it.
I shall fit this across your blast pipe. This will increase its surface area, giving you a better draft. This way your fire will get hotter as we go on.
Oh, I see, said Henry pessimistically. Once he was out and about, he was no longer feeling doubtful. I feel good. I feel strong, he cried joyously. I love having a Jimmy. Shh, hissed Sid.
Don't go shouting about that Jimmy. It's against the rules to use them. Sir Topham Hatt isn't to know. Why do you think I waited until Eunice was out of sight before telling you about it?
Henry tried not to get carried away with how happy and strong he felt. He wondered why something that could increase his power and make him more reliable would be forbidden. Henry and his passenger train soon arrived at the Jock station, which of course wasn't dark during the daytime. As they pulled up to the platform, they heard something that made them shudder.
Clunk!
The Jimmy had worked loose and fallen into the blast pipe.
We're in trouble now,
said Sid quietly.
Can't you open my door and fish it out?
Asked Henry silently.
Of course I can't. The station master will want to know the reason why. And anyway, it'll be too dark and smoky in there for me to see anything.
Well, we can't just leave it in there, said Charlie. It'll damage his valves.
Listen, Charlie,
said Sid in hushed tones.
Would you mind shoveling as much coal into Henry's furnace as you can? And while you're at it, fill his boiler to the top with water.
Charlie was concerned, but nodded.
And what will you do? I shall test Henry's wheels,
replied Sid, grabbing the chapping hammer, and his oil can and penknife. He never did get around to chapping any of Henry's driving wheels. Instead, he dripped oil onto the rails in front of each of them. He pushed as much oil as he could directly under the wheels with his knife. Henry watched him, looking around anxiously at the curious passengers and station staff. Soon, Lizzie blew her whistle. Sid clambered back aboard the footplate.
All right, Henry,
he said.
Let's have a strong start.
Charlie opened Henry's regulator and yanked his whistle chain. There was a roar and a shriek. Henry's wheels spun like a fly in a spider's clutches. Smoke, steam, and water shot from his funnel. And so did something else. Something solid.
It's out!
Exclaimed Sid before catching himself. Charlie let go of Henry's whistle chain and turned on his sanding gear. Henry crawled out of the station with his coaches. He didn't see where the Jimmy landed, nor at his crew. They were just glad it was no longer in his steam chest. But without the Jimmy, Henry's energy depleted throughout the rest of the day.